So I've been refining an idea I had. Um, Basically, what it's come down to is instead of using one model to think before outputting, I wanted a way to use multiple models to think before outputting with the final model. This should allow multiple smaller models to kind of collaborate on the thought process before the output model gets to put out any output. So there's a long line of thought process before you finally get an output. So the way I built this, it's super easy. So it's really similar to like ChatGPT or Claude. You can just click new chat, opens a new chat. You can kill it. It's really easy to add Olama models. I've just got local Olama running. You can go in here and grab any model and throw it into right here and install. I'll show you one. Let's find one I don't have installed. So let's try this one. Okay, so we'll grab the name. We can go in here and install, and you can watch it get installed. Like, see right here we have 5.3.14b, but we don't have the 3.8b. So, okay, so now we have 5.3 latest. So now we can even check mark that and add that into our list. Let's take 5.4 off. So we'll basically replace it with the 5.3. Okay, and then we have a clarification model. What that does, it takes the prompt and refines it down to something a lot easier to understand, and expands it so that it's, a little more filled in. Optionally, you can use all models. By clicking that, it'll just use all models, but as you can imagine, it takes forever as it has to load each one into RAM. And then we have an output model. The output model takes the thought process of all the models that have thought about something, and then it decides what the best data is inside of all that, considers it all. It's all fed into it, and then it can produce an output, which has some really interesting effects. So I'm going to do a simple prompt. Show me a Python function that returns a random prime number when called. I use this because it's a little complex. It has to decide, is it going to cap the number of prime numbers? If it doesn't, it's going to take forever because it's going to try to find every single prime number before it does a random. It's just a little, funny thing that I came up with. But anyway, so we hit send. And the first thing it does is it uses this model to refine, and it'll also name this, but I think we'll have to update before it'll show it. So it refined it, actually gave it between 1 and n as an example. So it actually puts a cap on it. So that's cool. And then as you can see, each one of these is a thought. Find a helper function, create a function. It's kind of like instructions on how to do it. Each one's going through being loaded onto my 3090 and then being inferenced. The output's being put here. And eventually it'll get through and we'll see an output. So we'll have to give that a minute. I'll go ahead and speed this up. Okay, so now we have an output, and it used all of the reasoning from each of the models. So we've got the refined prompt, we've got the first model's reasoning, we've got the second model's reasoning on. This one even has a little code in there and more reasoning. Some of these are even reasoning models that I'm using, and then sometimes the output model will output a chain of thought itself, even because usually I'm using a chain of thought model for that. But in the pre-prompting, I've told it not to do that because I wanted to use all of the thought process from the rest of the models to make it more controlled. Optionally, you can actually add that model in as a thought model, so it'll do thought and then it'll do the final reasoning. I'll eventually add other sources, APIs like Claude or O3 or O4. But for now, it's just Olama. I can run it locally. If anybody's interested in this, I'm open to release it. Leave a comment, subscribe. I might go ahead and release it to to the world.